A U.S. aircraft carrier closes in on Iran while students fill Tehran streets. Two fronts, one country, zero room for error. Outside, Washington delivers a 15-day ultimatum. Inside, the Islamic Republic faces its most volatile domestic unrest in years. This matters now because external military pressure and internal rebellion are converging at the exact same historical moment. In Tehran, tension surged at Sharif University of Technology, a symbol of Iran's scientific elite and future leadership. Verified reports and social media footage show direct clashes between student protesters and pro-government groups. The slogans were not about inflation or fuel prices, they were overtly political and historically charged. Some demonstrators invoked Reza Pahlavi, the exiled son of Iran's last monarch, a name once thought buried by history. To understand why that name resurfaces today, we must revisit the final Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. Through the White Revolution, he sought to transform Iran into a Middle Eastern Japan, industrialized, secular, oil-powered. Women gained voting rights, land was redistributed, and rapid modernization reshaped cities and institutions. Yet economic expansion ran parallel to political repression under the secret police Savak. A widening divide emerged between a Western-leaning elite and a conservative, religious, economically strained majority. In 1979, Ayatollah Khomeini led a revolutionary coalition of clerics, leftists, and students that forced the Shah into exile. The monarchy collapsed, ending 2,500 years of Persian royal rule and replacing it with an Islamic republic. But nearly half a century later, the unresolved legacy of that revolution is once again shaping Iran's future. After the revolution, a 19-year-old crown prince in U.S. flight training suddenly became a king without a throne. For more than 4 decades in exile, Reza Pahlavi avoided militias and armed factions, choosing a different strategy. He rebranded himself not as a monarch in waiting, but as an advocate for a secular, democratic referendum. Crucially, he publicly acknowledged his father's human rights failures, a move that reshaped his credibility among younger Iranians. He repeatedly stated he would accept a republic if that reflected the will of the people. That flexibility transformed him into a rare unifying symbol among fragmented opposition groups abroad. Now, in May 2026, as U.S. carriers hover offshore, his image resurfaces across university campuses. For many students, he represents an alternative future, global integration, economic revival, and diplomatic normalization. Meanwhile, unrest has spread beyond Sharif to institutions such as Amirkabir and other major Tehran campuses. Protesters have thrown stones at Basij-affiliated volunteer forces tasked with campus security. These demonstrations coincided with the 40-day memorial for victims killed during the previous month's crackdown. The timing reignited a cycle of mourning and mobilization, intensifying civil instability nationwide. In Western towns, arrests of teachers and civic activists have further fueled coordinated street protests. Parallel to the clashes on the ground, a fierce battle over casualty figures is unfolding internationally. And the gap between Tehran's numbers and Washington's claims is widening into a geopolitical fault line. Tehran reports just over 3,000 casualties, describing hundreds as foreign-backed militants. Washington counters with claims of tens of thousands dead, portraying Iran as descending into humanitarian catastrophe. The numerical gap is not only political, it deepens trauma for families searching for missing relatives. Around 30 United Nations experts have demanded transparency regarding detainees and the fate of the disappeared. Offshore, the United States has expanded its naval and air deployments, signaling readiness for escalation. Strategic bases such as Diego Garcia and RAF Fairford have been referenced publicly as operational options. The message is calibrated pressure, comply with nuclear demands or face broader consequences. Iran, meanwhile, has conducted joint naval exercises with Russia in the Gulf of Oman and the Indian Ocean. The presence of advanced Russian frigates at Iranian ports underscores a counterbalancing deterrent. Live-fire drills near the Strait of Hormuz, through which a fifth of global oil flows, send tremors through energy markets. Several European governments have urged citizens to leave Iran immediately, citing rising security risks. On Tehran streets, residents voice fear not only of sanctions, but of a war that could erase economic stability altogether. Business leaders privately argue that diplomacy appears stalled by mutually exclusive red lines. Washington demands zero uranium enrichment. Tehran insists enrichment on its soil is non-negotiable sovereignty. As pressure mounts from aircraft carriers abroad and restless students at home, Iran stands at a crossroads where one miscalculation could reshape the Middle East.